and all the parts that are going to be silent. Because I'm going to zip through this part of it. Canvas, canvas information, show the pixel width and height. Done. Drawing guide, edit drawing guide. That's 5, 1, 2, 512. Good size. Alrighty then, welcome to the tutorial. You saw me doing some weird stuff there, didn't you? First of all, if you take your monoline brush and you set the spacing out, you can actually create a dot brush. Isn't that nice to know? Or maybe not. What I was doing was trying to figure out, if I remembered correctly, how brushes work. And this is the way brushes work. Every brush is centered around the center of your square. So this is the center of the square. What I have done is I have created a canvas that is 2048 by 2048. It's 300 dpi, no big deal. And I have turned on the drawing guide. I divided the canvas size by 4, and this gave me 4 quadrants of 4. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. That way I could try to figure out how this would work the best. If we set our monoline brush to 20%, and we go from here to here, and I like to be precise, that way I know what numbers to put in where. Your brush will actually follow that point right there. That is your leading point. Whichever direction your cursor goes, that's what that points to, with everything else trailing behind. So just to test this theory out, I created an arrow. And once again, let's be precise just because I like to be strange that way. There we go. And then we will flip this. We duplicate, we flip it, and we move it up. And we have this rather strange looking arrow. Let's take these two and move them this way. And there you go. A nice arrow going on. Let's turn off this layer 1, which I was using to determine exactly where the center was when I was zoomed in. And we copy our canvas. You'll notice that I have the background turned off. That's in case the black color that I chose is not pure black. And we create a new brush. Now, the way I determined everything, I went to Edit, Import, Paste on the shape. I click Done. The rotation, we want to follow the stroke. We want to turn the Apple Pencil all the way off. And on Properties, we want to turn off Orient to Screen. You saw me not do that in the speed paint there, and it did weird rotational stuff. So, maximum size, let's go to 400 or 500. We'll just go 400 for the sake of argument here. Stroke path, I moved this along until the tips were just touching, which turned out to be 33%. And there you go. You got a nice little arrow going on. And it follows along. The front of the arrow is always pointed at your stylus. And then the next thing I discovered, or figured out, or whatever, if we turn one of these off, and we copy the canvas, set our spacing to 33%. Now I did this manually. You could copy the brush each and every time, but this gets me in the habit of knowing what these settings are. We'll paste that in, we'll say done. Follow stroke. Apple pencil all the way off. Maximum size, we're going to say 400. And we give that a done. And you'll notice it don't work right. Something's not right. What's not right? It's going random. Oh yeah. Orient to screen. Turn that off. And now you got a half an arrow following. If you go into the shape and you flip X, then what that essentially does is it randomly flips left to right. So X is going left to right. Not very useful in this case. Let's flip Y, and it randomly flips up and down. And I thought this would be great if we were creating a vine or some other pattern. So we're going to go in here. Let's turn this back on. And what I did was I went into my layers. Let's create a new layer. And on this monoline brush, I decreased it from 10 to 5%. And then I began creating what I would consider to be sort of a folk art style pattern. So we got an arc there. I'm going to turn that off, duplicate my arc, oh, well, let's just move that right there like that. There we go. And we get those corners to match up. And I'm going to group these together just so that I know what's going on. Let's take these two. And if we turn off all the snapping, we can move things around smoothly. So I'm going to move this down until it looks like it's splitting out of the previous line. And then I took the monoline here and I went up to 15%. And I put a dot right there at the end. As a matter of fact, new layer, put a dot right there at the end. That way I can move it without having to worry about where things are. All right, and then I wanted to get circles going around this way, but I wanted them to be even. And that's why I increased the spacing of my monoline brush to create this neat little monoline one. And now when we draw around there, we can get a nice little circle. We can do an edit shape. If you grab between the handles, you can resize and rotate. If you grab the handles themselves, you can change the shape into an oval. And I want those to be separated, so there we go. We now have this. Okay, and that one goes with that. Let's duplicate that, put it down here so that it will go with this. And as you can see, I made them too big because they go into the side there. And this is where I turn uniform resizing on. Let's make it smaller because I don't want it to hit into that line. And I want the other one to be the exact same size. So we're going to move that over into here. We can get rid of that one. And there we go. We got this nice little thing going on. And I am now going to copy canvas. We're going to start up a new brush. Spacing is 33. The shape is the one we just copied. Always click done. Rotation is follow stroke. Apple Pencil is opacity none. Properties, turn off the orient to screen. Give it a maximum size of 400. And we give that a done. And then we test our new brush. And that looks interesting. If I go into shape and flip the Y randomly, that's always random. Okay. So now what I want to do is take this part of the brush and duplicate it up here. So we're going to take this group here, we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to flip it vertical. Turn the snapping back on. And put it right up there. And then to differentiate between this one and the other one, I'm going to add extra dots. I'm going to put a little dot. Whoops, that's not a dot. There we go. Put a little dot there and a little dot there. That way we can see the difference between them. We can turn this off because it's replicated over here. And we will copy the canvas. New brush, 33%. Shape, edit, import, paste. And done. We're going to flip the Y, that way those two extra dots will sometimes be on the top and sometimes be at the bottom. And we're going to go into Apple Pencil, turn that opacity off, go to Properties, turn off Orient to Screen, maximum size 400. I think I've just about got this in my head now. And we'll say Done. And we will test this little brush. Something's not right. What is not right? See there, I thought that I had everything done. Rotation as follows stroke. There we go. I thought I had it all memorized, and I don't. All right, so there you go. Sometimes the two dots are on the left, sometimes they're on the right, or on the top or on the bottom. And that makes for an interesting pattern. We are now going to take our brush here, we're going to duplicate these two groups and flip them horizontally and move them out front. And this gives us another interesting pattern. I'm going to go ahead and flip that vertical as well. That way you got the piece with the two dots at the top left or the bottom right. And we copy that canvas. And this is where I ran into my next problem. With a spacing of 33%, shape, edit, import, paste. Done. Follow stroke. Apple Pencil off. Orient to screen off. Maximum size 400. It can be anything because it's going to follow the shape is going to follow the size of the brush. But we're just doing 400 for now to play around with. And where I came up with a problem is now the shapes actually run into each other and they run into the stem there. So my first solution was to take our left and right and double it. Copy canvas, shape, edit, import, paste. Done. But now you can see in the preview here on the drawing pad that that line is going to overextend, which means we have to change the stroke path, which I discovered by doing this 45%. So now they're not running into each other, but they are running into the line. So I decided I would get rid of the middle post altogether. And we're going to flip Y to give that little variation. And there you go. You got this nice little brush that you can use to make borders with. If you snap it to a line or an arc or whatnot, you can compress it or extend it to whatever you like. And sometimes our two little dots are top left, bottom right. Sometimes it's top right, bottom left. because we're flipping that Y randomly. So let's take this one right here. We're going to change the stroke path to 33% and click Done. And they are overlapping. So how do we fix that? Well, 45 is too far, I think. 33 is too close. I think 40 is going to be our best bet for this particular design. Let's try it out and see. Yeah, that works very nicely. A second alternative is to make the center line not actually touch the little floral pattern. As you can see, no matter where the angle is, the floral pattern does not cross the line. So there you go. Here's some bonus ones for you. I was playing around with other ideas for borders and came up with these. Nice fancy borders here. If you take a picture with your browser right after I turn off my drawing guide here, you'll be able to copy these in, put them into your own square canvas, and create them for yourself. You have my permission to use these as you see fit. Commercial use, whatever. Just don't sell them as stamps that you've created. Make your own to sell. And basically what we've got here is this one right here and this one right here, all by themselves will make a square canvas. You can also use this to build a square canvas if you want. It just takes a few more steps. You can combine this one with either of these other two to make a rectangle canvas. And basically just work it up, have fun, use this as an idea to make your own. Show me if you do. And have lots of fun with it. So now I'm going to turn off my drawing guide. I'm going to do a 4-finger tap to get rid of all the extra stuff at these sides. I'll zoom this out a little bit. And there you go. You can pause the video, take a screenshot, and then paste this into your PROcreate or other program if you use that and it works, and then make your own brushes out of it. I hope you enjoyed the demo tutorial and this extra little bit here, and I hope you have a wonderful day.